So one of the areas that the IPPR Commission on Economic Justice is going to be looking at is finance in the economy. And what that means is it's the process by which banks and other financial sector institutions move money from savers, both in the present and in the future, to people that want to invest and spend money in the present. Now, what's quite an interesting paradox here is that the UK has one of the biggest financial sectors in the world compared to the size of its economy, and yet we have comparatively low investment in the real economy. So, for example, we have lower research and development spending than most other advanced nations, and we have lower kind of investment in things like machinery and the kind of the stock of things that people use in their jobs to improve their productivity. Now, that in itself doesn't necessarily mean we've got a problem, because the UK has a large service sector economy which tends to use less technology, or at least less kind of fixed assets. But even within those types of sectors, we still have lower productivity than in other comparable countries. Now, there are two main reasons we think for this. One is that the UK finance markets are especially short-term. So what that means is there's a lot of money to be made in short-term, near-term investments and moving money around quickly in the short term, rather than actually putting your money down and trying to say, well, let's try and wait for 5 years to see whether this can yield a good return for jobs and for prosperity. So that kind of skews investment towards the short term. And the other one is, because our financial sector is so big, and because that so many different types of financial assets are there to be purchased and traded, which don't have any particular direct bearing on the real economy, lots of money can be spent on those things instead of being invested in the real economy. And what that means is, if you're a big company in the UK, you may do share buybacks or buy your own equity to improve the value of your company, but not actually invest in the things that are actually producing real wealth, real prosperity, real jobs in the real economy. And this is an area that the Commission on Economic Justice wants to look at and try to unpick some of the solutions to these problems.